Statistics is back in another one. So welcome back. This is the new videos for the new year. May you enjoy your vacation, have a long rest. So we have to continue in the new topic, which is called trigonometric ratios. That has to do with right triangle only, the study of right triangle only, meaning that sine, cosine, tangent, where you're going to find a ratio. But in this section, it is required that you have a scientific calculator. Today we're going to go over the basic concept, how to use the trig function. So we're going to work on the basic function, sine, cosine, tangent. So today we're going to mainly focus on the tangent function. So once you have a right triangle, so this is one essential thing that you must identify. The key, one of the signs that you must identify is called the hypotenuse. So some claim that the hypotenuse is the longest side. Yes, indeed, it is the longest side. What happens if you are not giving the three sides of the triangle? How will you determine which side is the hypotenuse? In this case, the key to find the hypotenuse is to identify the right triangle, is identify the right angle in your right triangle, the 90-degree angle. So most of the time you will not see the number 90, but you will see a rectangular box that indicate it's a 90-degree angle. If you find in this example, this is my 90-degree angle. So if I look across it, that's become my hypotenuse. Side AB or BA or little c is the hypotenuse. It is said to be the longest side in the right triangle. Alright? So since you are doing in the right triangle, we need to find the missing angles. We already know what angle is. Mainly you're going to focus on the two acute angles which are complementary. If I add the measure of angle A plus measure of angle B, they will always add up to 90. As you know, that the sum of the angle in the triangle is 180. So if this is 90, if you subtract 90 from 180, so there's 90 left for the two acute angles. So solving the right triangle is about finding the acute angle. Either you're looking for the acute angle or you are looking for missing side. This is what trigonometry means. Triangle, metry means measurement. So it's the study of triangle, finding the missing parts in the triangle. Either you're looking for the missing side or the missing angle. So that's what we focus on. When you're looking for the missing angle, you will need to have a scientific calculator handy. In this case, you will have to do inverse trig ratios to find the angle when you're looking for the angle. When you use the regular trig, you're looking for the missing side. So those are the things that you need to be aware of when you're working in triangle. So, prior knowledge, when you're dealing with a triangle, the capital letters refer to angles. Capital letters are your angles. The lowercase letters are your side. Here, this is angle A. If I look opposite to angle A, side BC will be little e, little a. Side BC will be little a. This is angle B. If I look opposite to angle B, angle side AC will be little b. This is angle C. If I look across it, so capital C is opposite to little c. That's how you have to identify that. The capital letters refer to angles, the lowercase letters refer to side. So now, if they ask you to find sine A, meaning that they're telling you what angle A, you need to identify an angle A. Cosine A, you see that A. Tangent A, meaning you are angle A. This is your location. But when they ask you to find sine B, the location change. You are at a different angle. You are at this angle now. Cosine B, tangent B. That's what you need to be aware of. Those angles are your location. It's telling you the acute angle. That's where you need to position yourself so you can identify which side is opposite, which side is adjacent. As you already know, the easiest sign to find is the hypotenuse. To find the hypotenuse, you do equals the 90-degree angle, then you will find the hypotenuse. So in this case, we are going to focus on how to deal mainly to identify the opposite side and the adjacent side. Those are the tricky ones. So the hypotenuse will never change whatever the location in the acute angle you are. The hypotenuse will remain the same. That's one thing you need to remember. However, the location of the acute angle will determine which one is the opposite or which one is the adjacent. These are the things that we need to be aware of. In this case, so since we are looking with tangent has to do with the opposite leg over the adjacent. So tangent is easy, so doesn't have to do with the hypotenuse. So let this out of the way. Tangent is the ratio of the two legs. So remember, in your right triangle you have hypotenuse and legs. Alright? The two sides that intersect to form the 90-degree angles are called legs. And the third side that is across the 90-degree angle is called the hypotenuse. However, the legs, we have to differentiate which one is the opposite leg, which one is the adjacent leg. These are the things that you need to clarify. Those are the things you need to master. Once you master which one is the opposite, which one is the adjacent, and which one is the hypotenuse, you just follow those formulas, those trig ratios, or those are called trig functions. That's all you need to do. So once again, this is my triangle, and it must be right triangle in order to use the trig function. Right? And one thing, angle C does not have to be the right triangle. Does not have to be the right angle. It could be any angle. In this case, this is my right angle. If I look across it here, this will be the hypotenuse. Since there's no numbers, I cannot base on which one is the longest. So the hypotenuse always across the 90-degree angles, opposite to the 90 degrees. So my two acute angles are angle C and angle B. Either I have to use angle B or angle C. The 90-degree angles is not in play. You already know the values. Therefore, you know the value what it is. So the angle that I'm using are angle C and angle B. You need to be aware of. So those are the acute angle you need to focus when you're dealing with trigonometric ratios. So is that the acute angle that are missing. Either one is missing. So if I know one, I can find the other, because I know angle B and angle C, the sum of them will always be 90 degrees. So if I know any one of the acute angle, I can find the third one. But sometimes in this case, they give you one of those angles, therefore they ask you to find the missing side. So you have to put your game plan on to know what you're looking for. Those are the things about trigonometric ratios. What I'm looking for, what I have, what is missing. So you are looking for the missing parts. So remember, a triangle has three sides and triangle. At the end, in order to solve the triangle, you need to know the triangle and you need to know the three sides. Let's do some application. Right? If they ask me to find sine C, in this case they tell me I'm at angle C. Right? I know this is AC is a leg and BC is another legs. Those were these two segments met and they form the 90-degree angle. So in this case, since I'm at C, I need to look across that. This becomes the opposite leg, because it's opposite leg triangle, to angle C. Right? Since I already know this is my 90 degrees, this is the hypotenuse. So, and the third side is the adjacent. Adjacent means next to. Right? The other side that next to C or that form with angle C is AC. Therefore, AC is the adjacent leg to angle C. Therefore, I can find sine of angle C. It's a definition. It says the opposite leg over the hypotenuse. So in this case, I know the opposite leg is AB. So whatever the length AB is, I will divide it by the hypotenuse, which is BC. Then I'm done. This is sine of that. Right? If I need to find cosine of C, right? I'm looking cosine. He said in order to find cosine of angle is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. In this case, this is my adjacent. And the reason it is essential to know your side. Once you label it, and you just have to fill it in. That will whatever AC is, and divide the hypotenuse, which is BC. So this is the function we're going to focus on, which is the tangent of C. Tangent is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Doesn't have anything to do with the hypotenuse. In this case, my tangent of C will be AB, side AB, whatever the length is, over side AC. That will be tangent of C. Technically, you're done. Now, the other way, if they ask you, if you change the function, you don't want to be no longer in C, you need to find sine of B. And in this case, the location change. In order to find sine of B, then those things change. But the hypotenuse remains the same. Since you are here now, this becomes the opposite. To be opposite leg. To angle B. And this becomes the adjacent leg to angle B, because your location change. In this case, in order to find sine of B is the opposite. That will be AC over BC. And to find cosine of B, right? Cosine means adjacent. The adjacent is sine AB, alright, over the hypotenuse, which is BC. Now to find tangent of B will be the opposite, which is AC over AB. This is the leg. The tangent function has to do with the leg. Doesn't have anything to do with the hypotenuse. So this is what we are going to focus on. Alright? We're going to work on the tangent function because it's much easier, because it has to do with the two legs, the opposite leg over the adjacent, that gives you a ratio. When you use those, you are looking for the missing side. So if you are looking for an angle, you have to do the inverse tangent, inverse sine, inverse cosine. In this case, it is required a scientific calculator to compute those functions. Right? So if we move on this side, this is the function you are going to use. Also, when you're using trigonometric ratio, you can always use the acronym or numeric device, which is SOHCAHTOA. Alright? So, mean S for sine, opposite over hypotenuse. When you're looking for sine, the function of sine, the sine function is the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cosine function, the letter C is for cosine, is the adjacent over hypotenuse. The tangent function is the opposite over adjacent. That's one way you can use to memorize those functions, because some of you are gonna confuse from there. This is very simple. You have three sides in a triangle. You need to identify the side. You need to identify which one is the opposite, which one is the adjacent. One of those two, opposite and adjacent, are the legs of the triangle. The two segments that form the 90-degree angle where they met, those are the legs. And the third line is the hypotenuse. So to identify the hypotenuse, this is my angle C. I can look across it. This is become the hypotenuse. AB is the hypotenuse, or little c is the hypotenuse. Alright? So we use capital letters to represent the angles, use lowercase letter to represent the length of the side. Right? The length of each side. The length, the hypotenuse are being used with lowercase letters. The capital letters are used for the angles. The angles are expressed in degrees. The length are expressed in inches, centimeter. Right? Those are unit of measurement. Right? Feet. Those are the legs. Those are the side of the triangle. So the angles are expressed in degrees. So rarely the other expression is either in mostly you're going to find them in degrees. Other than that, it will be in radian, which is something that we have to touch. So those are your trig ratios. Alright? So refer to this angle. Sine of A, that when you have map A, this become the opposite and this become the hypotenuse. Sine of A is A divided by C, that will be the sine of A, the ratio, opposite over hypotenuse. Alright? But if I'm looking for sine of B, I'm here. This becomes the opposite, and the hypotenuse does not change. It's B over C. When I'm looking for cosine of A, cosine of A is the adjacent. This is B over C. B over C. Right? But if I'm looking cosine B, this is B, this is the adjacent, A over C. A over C, that will be cosine of B. Right? But when you're looking for the tangent function, this is what we are going to focus on. So tangent of A, this is the legs, opposite over adjacent. That will be A over B, that will give you tangent. If I'm looking for tangent of B, I'm in a different location. This is the opposite, this is little b over A. Those are the things that you need to play with. Right? Those are definitions, those are your fractions you have to be with. And remember, your fraction, anything when you have fraction, they must be in simplest form. They have to be simplified to the lowest term. So your numerator is the first number on top. Your denominator is what you call the bottom number. So that's numerator, denominator. When you enter those information in your calculator, your numerator must go first. Press your division symbol and divide by your denominator. Those are things that you need to be aware of. Those are things that you need to be prepared for. So be aware of that. And the other thing, you're going to need what you call a scientific calculator. Right? Because many of those things you will not be able to compute them without a calculator. So make sure your calculator is scientific. Right? You need a scientific calculator. This is a must. Without a scientific calculator, you will not be able to do those work. Hard time to write calculator. Right? You're going to calculate. So be aware of that. Remember that this must be something that you need to be aware of. SOHCAHTOA. Make it easy. When I'm looking for sine, is the opposite over the hypotenuse. When I'm looking for cosine, is the adjacent divided the hypotenuse. When I'm looking for tangent, is the opposite over the adjacent. That's what it meant. So those are your trigonometric ratios. And you use those trigonometric ratios when you're looking for the missing side. The missing side. So when you're looking for the missing angle, you have to do the inverse trigonometric ratios. So to find the inverse trigonometric ratios, your calculator has a bright key that called either second or shift. You will have to use that key to change that either to sine inverse. It has to be to a -1. That's sine inverse when you're looking for an angle. If I'm looking major of angle A, that's what I have to do. I have to press, some calculator you have to press shift and sine, then you're going to change it to the negative, that number. Then you do A over C. That when you use that when you're looking for angle measurement, you use the inverse function to find angles, missing angles. Alright? So those are the things that you need to be aware of. For any of those things, you use the inverse. So this is the lesson on tangent. We will have to do more of that. Alright? Those are simple definitions. Remember that in order to be prepared in this section, you must be able to label the three sides in your right triangle. And sometimes also, since it's a right triangle, you have the right to use Pythagorean theorem. Right? Remember, you can use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, only if it's a right triangle. So remember what you have to identify. You need to know which side is the hypotenuse. Right? You need to identify the hypotenuse in the right triangle, the opposite legs, and the adjacent leg. Those are the three key terms that will determine if you are going to succeed in this section of trigonometric equations. Those are the three main terms that you need to know. Let's recap. The hypotenuse always faces the 90-degree angle, or if the three numbers are given to you, it is the largest. It is the largest number out of the three. That's the hypotenuse. Equals the 90 degree. If the three numbers are not given to you, the easiest way to identify that to look equals the 90 degree, this is the hypotenuse. This is my right angle, and I look equals to this is my hypotenuse. It doesn't matter if it has a value or not. So that's the best way you know. But if the three values are given to you, the easiest way to identify that is by looking equals the 90-degree angle, then that you will be able to identify the hypotenuse. So for the adjacent of the hypotenuse, you have to use the acute angle. Right? Acute angle, one of the acute angles, either or will be given to you. One of the acute angles has to be given to you as the reference angle. Right? An acute angle as in reference has to be given to you. Meaning this is the location where you are. That has to be given. So you always want one use of the acute angle. And one thing you have to remember, if this angle is 90 degrees, the two acute angles will always be complementary. They will always be added up to 90 degrees. The sum of the two acute angles are complementary. They have to be added up to 90 degrees. This is what we did from prior knowledge. So if you know one of the acute angles, if you don't recall that they have to be added up to 90 degrees, then we can use the triangle sum theorem, where the three interior angles in triangle will always add up to 180. So I can use whatever the acute angle plus 90, and whatever it is, I subtract that from 180, that will give you the third missing angle. So those are the things that you need to do and start out, and you're going to say, I'm going to knock this out. Alright? We're going to knock this section out from the ballpark. Alright, guys, my friend, my student, in order to do good, those are the basic terms you need to know. So there's a possibility you're going to use Pythagorean theorem because it's a right triangle. Whenever you have a right triangle, you can use Pythagorean theorem. So the other thing that it is a right triangle, you have the legs and you have the hypotenuse. The legs are the two sides that form the 90-degree angle. Those are the legs. Alright? And the third side is the one that's slanted. Right? That's slant. it's called the hypotenuse. It's always equals the 90-degree angle. So since we're going to use the three regular basic trig function, so the easiest one is tangent, because tangent only has to do with the legs. So we're going to work on the tangent ratios first. So where you have to identify the opposite and the adjacent. So whatever the opposite is, you divide by the adjacent, that'll give you the tangent ratio. So with that, if we know the tangent ratio, if we're looking for an angle, then we can use the inverse tangent to find the missing angle. So if we're missing for a side, we only use tangent, right? Then that's what we are going to do. Either use trigonometric ratios as created as a proportion, then we're going to find the missing side. Right? Remember that we use just simple basic trig ratios when you're looking for a missing side. If we're looking for a missing angle, we have to do inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. Right? That you do this when you're looking for angles measurement. Alright? So remember, let's recap. SOHCAHTOA. Make sure you remember what does that mean. It's gonna be shortcut formulas. Alright? So means S for sine, O for opposite, hypotenuse. Sine opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent opposite over adjacent. If you can recall those little concepts, then you are ready to do good. The only thing is getting your scientific calculator, and I will help you how to get this out of the ballpark. That was Mr. This is one again. Happy New Year. Welcome back. Let's come and make the grade. That was me. Peace out. Wake up.